welcome to another new video. Today we are going to be talking about a bunch of awesome gifts for filmmakers under $100. First of all is SD cards and storage, and if you're not a filmmaker, you may not know this, but storage is very, very important. These SD card cases are awesome. They're from Pelican. I have one right here. I use it all the time. Whenever I'm traveling, whenever I'm working on big shoots, whatever, I always have one of those on me. At least one, sometimes two or three. So yes, I own those and I love them. The next thing would be an SD card to put in the case. So, like, what kind of SD card do you get, you know? If you're shooting in 4K, or if you want more reliability and that sort of thing, then these SanDisk Extreme cards are awesome. These things, even just the regular Extreme cards just for like GoPros, that sort of thing, they are amazing. If you're shooting 4K on a DSLR, get that. If you just need something for a drone or a GoPro that you're shooting 4K, this is your best bet. If you're just shooting 1080p on a little point and shoot, these little SanDisk Ultras work perfectly. The one thing that I would warn you about is some of the ones on Amazon are fake, so you definitely have to be careful of that. If it comes in like with the yellow little tab right here, can't really see it, but that means it's fake. There's a bunch of other things. Go do your own research. If you want to make sure you don't get fake, I would go to B&H Photo. That's where I would buy them if you want to make sure you don't have a fake. The next thing I would recommend for storage is getting one of these Western Digital drives. You can get them in all different sizes, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 3, 4, whatever. I use these drives all the time for editing on the go. These are my main portable edit drives. They work awesome. I haven't had an issue yet. They are also fairly affordable at only $70 for a 2 terabyte and $50 for a 1 terabyte. If you know the filmmaker you're getting a gift for needs more storage, pick up one of these. If you're a filmmaker watching this though, I would recommend having 2 of these, just so you can have one for your main drive and then one for a backup in case that fails. The next category we need to look into is lighting. Specifically for this video, we are looking at on-camera LED lighting. The first light I would look at is this newer light with 176 LEDs. I would get the kit because then it comes with the rechargeable battery and you don't have to use little alkaline batteries or any of that stuff. You can just recharge it whenever you want. This is the cheaper option if you don't want to spend a ton of money on a light. This works fairly well from what I've heard. I don't own one. If you have a little bit more money to spend, this little light from Aperture is awesome from what I've heard. Again, I don't own one of these, but I've read a lot of reviews. I've heard a lot of great things about it. So if you have a little bit more to spend, this is what you should get. Higher quality. It's made by Aperture, which is definitely a really good, reputable brand. If you have even a little bit more money to spend, I would definitely recommend these Lume Cubes. They're Bluetooth, they're waterproof, they're durable, rugged, shockproof. These things are amazing lights from what I've heard. Again, still don't have one of these. I'm planning to pick one up at some point though. Switching categories yet again to camera cleaning equipment. Camera cleaning equipment tends to be overlooked. Same thing as SD cards, storage, audio, a bunch of other stuff. But it is very essential in getting high quality footage because you don't want little dust particles and stuff on your lens making your shot look a little bit more dirty. The first thing, I own one. I actually own a couple of these. Lens pens. They're great on the go. You just throw them in your pocket and you can clean your lens with it. I highly recommend these. They're cheap, they're easy, it just works well. The next piece of gear I recommend for cleaning equipment is these guys. And these are air blowers for your lenses and cleaning just off all the dust on your cameras. They're great, they're awesome. I just recently invested in these as well. Similar to lens pens, these things are cheap. This one is $10. It's normally cheaper. I think I bought mine for cheaper than that. Camera cleaning equipment isn't that expensive, but yet it's very, very essential, and yet people still overlook it. I'm switching categories yet again, and we are going to be talking about audio. Just like a bunch of other stuff I mentioned, such as storage, SD cards, your camera cleaning equipment, lighting, all that stuff is all very much underrated and it's very important, yet people I don't think really think it's essential. One piece of gear I would really recommend is having a little audio recorder. Now the Zoom H1N just came out this year. It's $120, but if you go to B&H, they have a sale on the gray one for $80. So I would highly recommend picking one of these up for your filmmaking friend or family member. If your filmmaking friend or family member does a lot of vlogging, any type of content on YouTube, maybe any type of run and gun content, I would highly recommend getting an on-camera shotgun mic, similar to this Rode one. Personally, like half the stuff honestly on this list, I don't own it, but I've heard a lot of good stuff about this. Rode has been in the business for a while. They know what they're doing. They're a good company. They have a lot of great customer feedback. They sound good. I would recommend one of these. If you want to pick up an on-camera shotgun mic, but you don't really want to spend $50-$60 or whatever, then I recommend this. It is the Takstar SGC598. This thing, I've had this thing for almost a year. It's been a fairly good mic. It's not quite as good as the Rode, but for the price, it's definitely worth it. One thing that's been really helpful to me and lets me charge my batteries wherever I am, out in the middle of freaking nowhere, anywhere off the grid, is having a battery bank such as these Anker ones. I have the 21,000 milliamp hour one. These things are awesome. This is what I have, or I guess it's 20,100. These things are a little bit expensive, but they're definitely worth it. I've had Anker products for years. I haven't had issues. So what I do is I have one of these Anker battery banks. I then go ahead and buy one of these for my camera. So you would have to know what camera they're using. I would go ahead, buy USB. These are called USB battery chargers for cameras. So buy one for the correct camera that they're using. Boom, you can just charge your camera batteries off of this guy. And you can be in the middle of nowhere charging camera batteries without, hundreds of miles from electricity, which I really like, especially when I'm on the road traveling, working on projects, and there's no power for miles. The final category I'm going to talk about is polarizers and ND filters. With these filters, they have different millimeters for different camera lenses, so you'd have to go figure that all out. I would suggest just buying the biggest one you can find, and then buying like step down rings or step up rings, which just allow it to change the different lenses. So instead of buying a $50 filter, you can just buy a little $10 ring just to put on different lenses and stuff if you have multiple lenses. What ND filters do is it's basically like sunglasses for your camera. It just darkens the image a little bit. A polarizing filter is basically an ND filter that kind of makes certain colors pop, and it also takes out the reflections if you're filming cars and through windows and all that sort of thing. Filters might be a little bit harder because you have to go through and like find their lens, or they're more expensive, and it's a little bit more confusing, but it's definitely something I would consider recommending. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you found some of this stuff helpful. If you do, smack that like button and get subscribed. I will see you probably in a couple days actually, because I'm going to try and vlog all of Christmas break. We'll see if that happens. But yeah, bye.